Assalamu alaikum. Who here has heard the term pursue your passion? Who here is intimidated by the connotation of finding your passion or pursuing your passion? Today, I'm going to tell you the story of how I found my passion, how I pursued my passion, and how I realized that it wasn't enough. I will start by telling you my story. So I'm half Saudi, half Iraqi, born in Baghdad, raised in Riyadh. I studied biomedical engineering from Purdue University, did my MBA at Harvard, and today I am proud to say I'm a chief hoop fairy at Flowground, a center dedicated to teaching hula hooping and poi. So hula hooping is the hula hoop that we know as kids, and poi is this equally length rope with weighted ends at the end. They're both known as performing arts, flow arts, or also known as circus arts. I know what you're all thinking, weird. So you can imagine my dad coming to me and saying, بنتي انتي درستي هندسة وتخرجتي لي من هارفارد على مود تصيري لي هوبر. Or my mom wondering, يعني مدى أفتهم هسه حتشتغلين بالسيركس؟ True story. So then, so the journey my journey was not a straightforward one, and I would like to share it with you today. And it started with the sentence, إحنا ما عندنا بنات يدرسون برا. So, which means, for those of you who don't speak Arabic, our girls don't study abroad. And that ignited something in me. It resulted into a lot of fights with my dad, a lot of letters under his pillow, and my grades transforming from what was below average to graduating as the third in the kingdom. After that, I went to Purdue University, and I decided to study engineering, which was common sense because both my parents are engineers and my brother's an engineer. So I went into Purdue excited to study electrical engineering, but when I was there, I discovered what was called biomedical engineering. Of course, when I told my parents, medical, yes, do it. But for me, what inspired me is instead of building bridges, I am building bone cement. And instead of developing microchips implanted in phones, I'm developing microchips that are implanted in the brain. And that was my research, developing microchips that are implanted in the brain for people who have epilepsy and spinal cord injury. I got a scholarship to do my master's in neuroengineering at UCLA. But then after a lot of discussions and thought, I realized that limiting myself to a lab or limiting myself to a geographical place, what I thought at the time that level of research would only be in the US, is not my path. So I called my dad and he said, if there is one thing I would like to do or have done is to do an MBA. But I would only allow you to do it if it's a good school. Challenge accepted. So there I was walking into HBS. Sorry for the Stanford graduates in the room. Walking into HBS at the age of 21, the youngest Harvard MBA student, which immediately inherited me the nickname Baby Teebs. So my path after that was a natural one. I thought of pursuing a career in healthcare, in the managerial side of healthcare. Worked for Johnson & Johnson in Paris and in Dubai, where I did market entry assessments, sales, and business development for the Turkey, Middle East, Africa region. I then thought, I love the design side of healthcare, but the business side seemed a bit very slow for me. So I thought what other industry would be interesting. So I went into fashion. I worked for Louis Vuitton. I did merchandising, client development, and business development for Canada. I moved to Toronto at the time. But during all that, I discovered and fell in love with a hula hoop. So this might sound very cliche, but the hoop has changed my life. At the time, I saw my first hooper in the US, and I was just blown away. I was like, what is she doing? She immediately inspired me. The look of serenity in her face, the way she was expressing herself. I just thought, I just want to be like her when I grow up. And so at the time I looked for hooping in Dubai and there were no hoopers, but when I was in Toronto, it still stuck in the back of my head. So I Googled it and I found a class, went to the class and I was blown away. There was this whole world of hoopers. And the hoop for me has had a lot of benefits. One, it has allowed me to freely express myself in a way that I never thought I would be able to do before. I channeled any energy that I had. I was upset, happy, angry, whatever I was feeling that day into that circle. Second, it allowed me to play. As adults, we sometimes forget to play, so I had my little playtime. Third, I'm always the type of person who's planning ahead in the future or regretting what I did yesterday, but in the hoop, I am in the now. I was able to meditate in my hoop. Fourth, it has helped me a lot physically. With the hoop, I was able to lose 10 kilos just like that, and it has helped me with my scoliosis. I had really bad back injury. And I didn't even try because it was just so fun, I just wanted to do it all the time. Fourth, it taught me about community. I made the bestest of friends till today through the hoop. 2 years ago, I moved back to Dubai where I got married. And at that time, I felt like fashion is not my thing. And so I thought I always wanted to start my own thing, but I had no idea in what. And I knew it had to be something I'm passionate about. So I thought the best thing to do is go into VC, venture capital, because that will help me understand entrepreneurship. And I got the offers, but during that time, I started hooping in the beach, in the park, and I would be asked to teach people. So I thought, okay, I'll teach you guys on the side. But then I was like, wait a minute. Does this mean I can turn my passion into a career? All I wanted was friends to hoop with, to be honest, but that's a different story. So then my logical mind was like, okay, passion, hooping, check. Market, opportunity, there's no hooping in Dubai, check. Skills, I have the hooping skills and I have the business skills, check. So maybe this is an opportunity. But then I thought, I'm already pursuing my passion as a hobby. Do I really need to pursue it as a career? I'm fulfilled already in the hobby side. But then I thought, yes, I want to do it. Third, I thought, what am I willing to sacrifice? Or what am I sacrificing today? And I thought about, that financial stability, that 9-to-5 job, that security. And then I thought, okay. Then I thought, what is stopping me from doing this? Is it something important? Is it to feed my kids that don't exist? No. Is it the fear of failure? Is it what people will think of me? Is it my parents' words? So I took the plunge, and that was the birth of Flowground. It's been a year, and I'm proud to say what started with just me is now a very strong community of over 200 poyers and hoopers in Dubai. The sense of community, it's not only about sharing the passion, it's the friendships. It's the motivated dreamers. We have continuous workshops and classes, requests to participate in events, and we get requests for workshops in Saudi and Oman, so it's been good. But there are days when it's really hard to look at the bright side or to get out of your bed when you don't see the profit, when you feel that fear of failure, or fear of like, my class is not full today, what is happening? Or when you realize that pursuing your passion does not necessarily mean doing your passion. Actually, you will be doing more of your non-passion work, AKA social media, accounting, finance, all the many other things than actually hooping. And during my first year at Flowground, I hooped less than I ever did before. And so while I was sitting there in bed, trying to motivate myself to get up, I look at this poster that my students gave me during the Flowground's one-year birthday, where they all wrote messages of how I inspired them and how I changed their life. And that's when it hit me. Why hooping? For me, hooping is to inspire others, is to make them believe to pursue the yes. If the hoop falls down, pick it up and keep on trying. You can't do this move, just work on it. It's about freedom of self-expression. It's about letting yourself go of self-judgment and those of others and really being your true self. It's for me, the lessons learned inside the hoop is applied outside of it. And that's when I felt the motivation and my goals becoming a reality, to develop a corporate hula hooping program where we teach employees about play, work hard, play hard, to develop a hooping university program where or a school, high school program to go against bullying, where we're all the same, to break the hula hooping world record with the amount of hoopers in one place, to raise awareness of diabetes and sameness, having labor camp and professional people hooping at the same time. Those are my dreams. And that's when I realized hooping is my passion, but my purpose is to inspire others and be inspired, is to ignite and create a change in the world while achieving fulfillment. And that's when I realized the pursuit of passion is like the pursuit of happiness. It's fleeting. What we need to do is find meaning, to find the reason why. And for me, and that is purpose, because happiness can change, but fulfillment is eternal. Passion is inward, it's internal, it's about the individual. Purpose is about external, what effects you will have on others and on your surrounding. Passion is changing. Who here had different hobbies throughout their lives? Purpose is eternal. And passion is that feeling, that excitement that you have about something. Purpose is the reason why. So you might ask me today, how can I find my purpose? So I thought about it, and I thought about sharing a couple of questions that might help you today to find your purpose in life. So, and I just want to note that the journey in finding your purpose is a fun one. Don't make it like a chore, and it's always evolving. Number one is a series of questions, and I thought of a couple of questions because we're different people in the room, and some might relate to some more than others. What do you love doing today? What makes you forget to eat? What books do you have in your library? What is your Google searches? What Instagram accounts do you follow? What did you enjoy about your previous careers? What functionalities did you like? If you had all the skill in the world to do anything you wanted, what career lists do you want? Could be a musical composer, could be a surgeon, you don't need to have the skill. And then I challenge you to find the common denominator between all those things. Find the principle that is behind all these things and ask the question why. My second thing for you, my second question is, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to tolerate? What is something that you would be able to put up with? Because everything comes with a bad and a good, even pursuing your passion. The third question is, how are you going to leave the world as a better place? Is it by building houses and construction? Or is it by your charity work on your side? Or is it through your work? And then the last thing is what legacy would you like to leave in the world? So I had an exercise during my class that I took at HBS called Authentic Leadership Development. Our final paper was, what is your purpose in life? Trust me, it was the hardest paper I had to write at HBS. As I was sitting there and pondering, I realized that the best way for me to understand the purpose of my life is to write my eulogy, which is what people say about you at your funeral. So I chose 5 people: my sister, my imaginary son, my imaginary coworker, and someone imaginary from the community, and my best friend, because that's what encompasses my life. I actually chose the date, and I chose the month, making sure it's not close to my birthday, it's not in the summer. And then when I read this today, because this was written in 2008, I realized that the passion and the tool was different, but the purpose stayed the same. And so I'd like to leave you today with a quote or a saying that I heard by Tony Robbins that really hit home for me. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I would like to end today with gratitude for my parents for always embracing my inner weirdness, for my husband for supporting me through this entrepreneurial mission, and for Tomouh for allowing me to speak today. Thank you.